All right, calm down, damn it, calm down. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to Desperate House Witches. I'm Rena Star, so you don't have to be. Desperate House Witches is not a G, PG, or even an R-rated show. So, if bad talk, bodily function, all that dirty stuff upsets you, this is not the place for you. Anyway, Desperate House Witches is brought to you by the incredibly wicked one herself, the amazing Dorothy Morrison. Please check out dorothymorrison.com for all of your Dorothy Morrison needs. And in case you didn't know, coming out on April 7th is a re-release of Everyday Tarot Magic. Yay! Let's have another round of applause for that. Yeah, God damn it. We are doing the Dorothy Morrison books. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Got to love it. Got to love it. Anyway, today's guest should be joining me in the queue momentarily. Where is his person? Michael Herkes, where are you? So I am being joined today by creator, fashion icon, friend of the show for a long time, Michael Herkes. Now, where do I have to retrieve you from, Michael? You know the system is still new. You should be connecting with me. Let me see where he is. How do I find him? Darling, where are you? There you are, my darling. Ah, here we go. Here we go.
Here we go.
Hello, here we go. Here we go. Hi, darling.
How's it going?
Good. It's so good to hear from you. How
You
have you
too.
been?
Oh, all over the place. Some days good, some days bad.
Oh my gosh, I hear that. Well, I think that's true for all of us right now, don't you think?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Mm. So, it's been a minute.
Yeah.
And I went looking for my copy of Glamstrology,
Mhm.
and I'm despondent because my copy has seemed to have grown legs and walked away.
Oh,
Oh yeah, so you're going to have to tell me and the audience
no.
where to get another copy because my copy, as I said, has taken a hike,
It's taken off.
and she's taken a walk on me.
She's
Not
taking a
fair.
walk. Well,
She's
you should.
taken
I
a
mean,
walk.
Marcus should be able to send you another copy, I think.
No, no, I
Yeah.
I support this independently.
Oh, well, thank
Um,
you.
of course, my love.
Yes.
I paid for my first copy. I will pay for my second copy.
Okay.
So where can I get said copy?
Anywhere books are sold. Amazon has it, Barnes and Noble. Actually, Barnes and Noble, they're like in the actual Barnes and Noble stores. So,
Nice.
yeah. So if you're close to one of those, you can check out there.
I happen
That's
to
always
be.
helpful.
Mm,
Yeah, that would be helpful just so that because if Barnes and Noble sells more like at their store, then they'll purchase more for their stores, which is good. So,
most excellent.
yep.
So it's been a while. What's going on with you? I haven't spoken to you in a bit. I know I've seen pictures because you're fabulous as always,
Fabulous.
and I love my icon, and I
Mhm.
love watching you. So
Thank you.
what has happened over the last year and a God,
Oh my gosh,
honey,
yeah. It's been a while since we chatted.
it's been a minute.
Well,
Yeah.
my big thing last year is I ended up losing 80 pounds. So,
You are gorgeous, I have to
thank
say.
you.
The beauty
Thank you.
is shining through. I must
Yeah.
I must say.
Yeah, I stopped drinking for a bit and started walking a lot.
Mhm.
Around the summer, I was doing about 5 hour walks a day,
Woo.
at least. So like 2 hours before work, 2 hours after work, and then my lunch break. So it was really nice, and even from the witchy perspective, like really getting into nature and having these kind of meditative walks right along the Lake Michigan,
Mhm.
it's just really wonderful. Even being in a big city like Chicago, so that was um that was one of my big things last year, and then of course having Glamstrology come out,
Mhm.
and did a big book tour in October. I think it was like nine stores that I ended up doing, between West Coast, East Coast, and Chicago. So that was pretty big, and
Yeah.
I've kind of retired the glam witch a little bit now.
Well, can we talk
So
about that a little
yeah,
bit?
of
What's
course.
go what is going on with that?
Well, when I first kind of came out in the glam witch world, made it like a public thing, and started teaching the public witch world.
Mhm.
Um, it was always this kind of idea that hopefully it would like branch off into something, bigger, or something aside from teaching classes and writing the books, or any of that stuff. But after a while, it's just kind of feel like the glam witch kind of reached the height of where I can take it, at least right now. And just from a really practical standpoint, needed to reshift focus and focus more on my day job and corporate career. And so I'm just taking a little bit of a break. There was this kind of idea that maybe I was going to kill the glam witch, and maybe it would, she would only come back if she was necromancied and brought back to life. But no, I'm just saying, she's in rehab. She's she's on
Okay.
vacation.
Mhm.
I have two other books that I have to write this year, so the glam witch will be back, but is also evolving into something different. And we think like any kind of musical star. I mean, Madonna is the first thing that comes to mind, but it's like, the
Mhm.
queen of reinventing herself. So the glam witch is just a different glamour now. It was a glamour to begin with, and it just kind of became my daily identity, and it doesn't have to be anymore. So
Right.
that's the biggest, I think that's the biggest shift. And I know I've gotten a lot of questions because people are like, "Where'd the glam witch go? What happened?" Da, da, da. And I kind
Mhm.
of stopped doing interviews and online classes and stuff like that. So I'm just kind of focusing on me, and I am going to be doing something in Chicago on the first weekend of May. I'll be doing the Oddities Festival and doing tarot readings there. But otherwise, I think pretty much my witch my witch public life is kind of it's on pause.
I
So
understand that. Yeah,
yeah,
that makes perfect sense, especially in this particular climate.
yeah,
I find that, we had a little bit more emotional room, perhaps
mhm,
under the last administration, where we weren't perhaps quite so emotionally under the gun. It feels
yeah,
like we're all perhaps trying to prepare ourselves for a coming wave of perhaps things that are not too fantastic.
mhm,
And I think self care is kind of the wave of what we should be doing right now. I
mhm,
think the feeling out there is that we're preparing for something.
mhm.
Is that the vibe you're getting as well?
To a degree, I'm kind of just more in a state of rest.
Hmm.
It's just yeah, rest. That's really all I can kind of say. I mean, at one point it was kind of nerve-wracking, and that was kind of something I had mentioned in one of my um an event that I ended up pulling out of last minute, because I was just like, I don't really feel comfortable teaching right now. I don't feel
Hmm.
comfortable running around in caftans and heels and screaming from the rooftops that I'm a witch. And it just didn't seem right. And
I
so
know. Mhm.
that I don't know, it's fine. I've always, in some kind of a wave, have had adversaries, um just based on how I present and how I look and stuff. So it's nothing really new to me per se.
Right, right.
um but it's just being smarter about it, and I'm just tired. I've done 8 books since 2019, and it's
Hmm.
2025, and have been continuously self-marketing myself and putting myself out there, and doing all of these different events and interviews and things like that. And it's just it's exhausting after a while, especially
Hmm.
when you do have a corporate job, and a social life and other responsibilities, and then putting in all this extra work. It's sometimes you just have to pull the plug on some of that and say, no, I need to focus on me. And not for nothing, but it's also, it allows me a time to really kind of focus more on my personal craft. And I remember that was something someone said a long time ago, is like the best thing that they ever did was like take a step back from being a public witch so that they can actually practice their witchcraft again,
Yeah.
and make it more of that sacredness that doesn't have to be talked about all the time, and doesn't, I've never been like the TikTok person, or really, like, I have a big social media following on Instagram, but I really do much with it anymore. And it's and even that, I will say, is kind of has been nice. Like, I created my own separate personal account, and I'm not really accepting other people on it right now, just because I just don't want to see the noise of the world. And
Hmm.
really cutting back on social media has been very, very helpful for my personal mental health. So that's been fun,
I
I guess.
agree. No, you've got to step back. And I
Yeah.
think people associate a lot. with the term glam that it's all fun and parties and a laugh a minute. And and I know what you mean about being a public person, because
Yeah.
I I love being in the public when I choose to be, and
Hmm.
I love having a private life 90% of the time.
Hmm.
So my time on the book, and I I don't really have a presence on IG. I have a page, but I don't really have too much interaction, and I'm no longer on the Bird, and I'm not on the Tumble,
Yeah.
and I'm not on. I mean, I'm just
There's so,
not
I mean,
on the
I forgot about
things.
some of those actually when you're just like naming them off. It's just so exhausting. It's like I have
It's too
other things to
much,
do. Yeah, I have
and
other things to do. And it's getting warm again, so I'm out doing my walks and like that's what I
yes,
like. I like that.
and you're taking care of your body and you're taking care of your mind. And
Mhm.
I don't think people realize what a toll it can take, because it sounds like it's fun if you run from event to event. It's really
It
tiring.
can, I mean, yes, it can be, but it can also be excruciating. Like I had a fabulous time putting that book tour together, like completely by myself, no
Mhm.
help from anyone. Got it all done all on my own, and was bouncing around. And like one day I'm in Santa Monica, the next day I'm in San Diego, and then the following day I'm in. Oh my gosh, I can't even think of what the Palm Springs. It's like it was boom, 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 constant go, 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 go. And in the moment, yes, sometimes it is fun, but then you're like, oh my god, this is so freaking exhausting. And I have to do like more appearances later this month. What are you talking about? I'm done. I'm tired.
Right. And then you have to balance that with a day job, like
Correct.
I do and
Yeah.
you do. And the
Your
stresses of
social
having
battery goes out. I mean, even as a
out.
more extroverted person, like you have to shut down to
I
recharge at some point. And yeah, I don't know. It's not for me. I'm trying to practice say that like I'm not completely gone. I'm not dead. I'm not coming like that. I'm just taking a break. So
Yes.
I'm taking a break to rest and recharge and figure myself out. But I definitely know what I don't want to do anymore. Like I don't want to do a lot of podcast interviews. I don't want to do a lot of like internet um like workshops and stuff like that. I think that in so many ways that was very helpful. And I think it got very, very popular with COVID, in the pandemic at that point.
Mhm.
But at
Mhm.
this point, I just feel like it's very trite. It doesn't really add anything anymore. And I'm sick of talking through a computer. Like if there were
Mhm.
more live events like in person, I prefer that. Like I loved getting out and talking with people and getting a chance to see people and interacting with them. Like that's where the real magic is. Otherwise it's just another Instagram filter essentially, and I don't have the mindset to want to deal with that anymore. So
Well, let me say that I'm honored that you came on to talk with me.
of course I only do people that I like and that I have talked to before. Otherwise I'm really not trying to talk to anybody anymore.
And I do appreciate and understand that. And you know, as much as it's important to me that you get the word out about your products and the things you are doing,
Mhm.
to me, who you are as a person is so much more important, because
Yeah.
that's really what it's about. That's really what makes people want to read your books. That's really what
Oh,
makes
exactly.
people want to come and see you when you do a live
Yeah.
event. And, the things that are going on in this world right now are just so damn crazy. And, you talked earlier about, alluding to being a target in public. And
Mhm.
if people weren't a target in public before, especially our kind, they are
Mhm.
now, honey.
Mhm.
And it just gives me so much pause to think about the things that I used to think about wanting to do as far as doing more events. And now I'm like,
Mhm.
no, child. No,
I
we are
don't
going
yeah,
to
I just
rethink.
don't wanna do it anymore.
Mm-mm, mm-mm. I'm too old for this shit.
I
I'm,
same.
you know. I mean, I do have a day job that
Uh,
I've had for a really long time that I really love.
mhm,
It's a grind,
mhm,
especially with the things that are going on.
mhm,
We were having this discussion the other day about the tariffs and such. And if you think
mhm,
tariffs don't reach you, let me tell you what. some of the things I do for a living involve pieces of things that are made not in this country. And
Yeah.
when you reach out to other countries because they have a piece of something that you need and they hear an American voice, they're like, put that to the back of the line. We're
Yeah.
already feeling it.
Yeah.
Our Canadian friends are not at all well pleased with us, and they know and they're smart enough to know it's not all of us.
Yeah.
And when you have to start a conversation with "he wasn't my choice,"
Mhm.
and everyone knows who you're talking about, and
Yeah.
everyone knows what you're talking about. It's getting hairy out there,
Yeah.
and it's I'm terrified of. Fortunately, not any of my neighbors. My neighbors are very cool.
Hmm.
My neighborhood is very cool. I live in a very liberal part of a very
Hmm.
liberal city in a very red state, if that makes any
Hmm.
sense.
Yeah.
But, you know, but you still have to be concerned because the psychos are still out there.
Everywhere. They're everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
So, but and you brought up something too, and it's kind of maybe like this maybe the last little part I want to say about it all is just, we all are directly affected by it. However,
Yeah.
I try my hardest to not allow it to affect my day. And some people might not be able to understand that, but I just choose not to talk about it. I think that's the other thing too. Like us as magical people, like so many of peers that I see that are constantly talking about it and constantly saying his name, and it's kind of like Lord Voldemort. It's like you give him power by saying it, and so
Mm-hmm.
I personally choose not to. I don't
Mm.
speak on it. I don't really talk about what's going on, and it's not out of ignorance. It's just out of my I can't do it, and I don't want to put my energy into it.
Peace of mind. It's
Yes,
out of
and I
peace
have
of
before,
mind.
and I didn't like who I was and who I became. So
Mm.
I am just quietly moving along and trying to find the happiness within my day. So
I hear you. I got eaten up by it the last time,
mhm,
to a point where, I mean, I spent a lot of time in tears the last time, and
mhm,
I would wake up terrified, and I just said, "This time, I'm not giving into that."
yeah, you just
I
can't.
still,
So
I talk about it, I report on it, but I have had to consciously detach.
yes. Oh, I like that saying. That's perfect. That's I can say I like that term even for me with Glam Witch. I'm consciously detached.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, I can understand it. I can relate to it. I know what's happening. I'm certainly not ignorant of it, as you had said, but
Yeah,
I have consciously decided to not wrap my emotions, my heart, my
yeah,
inner workings to it,
hmm,
because it is just it's more than I can bear to do again right
yeah,
now,
absolutely.
you know. And I
Hmm.
think it's just so much healthier, especially as a magical person, to spend more time focusing on doing things that are magical as opposed to the constant
Hmm.
1 minute things look like they're better, the next minute things look like they're horrible.
Uh-huh.
And the distraction from being a magical person when you're constantly in that back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, it's not an effective way to be a magical person and have an effect on your surroundings and the surroundings of your loved ones, which is what I think we're supposed to be doing,
Yeah.
you
Hmm.
know. And I mean, look at you, 80 pounds down and
I
walking and healthy, and you're just, I mean, amazing as always. You weren't
Thank you.
not amazing before.
I know,
I,
but I'm a caterpillar. I butterflied.
you did. That's
And I'm sure I'll butterfly
phenomenal.
again in another way at some point. But yeah. I mean, yeah, the whole aesthetic of the glam witch, everything from I guess we can just say like overall health to just overall look and vision.
Hmm.
It worked, and it worked for a period of time, and now we've shifted into a new era, and this is the Michael era where people can see the real me behind the glitz and the glam of it all. But
Which I do love, honey.
thank
I
you,
have
thank
to
you.
say, you without makeup, chef's kiss,
Oh,
chef's
thank you.
kiss,
There's still
chef's
makeup on.
kiss.
I don't. I don't post my bare face. There's still
Oh, stop it.
concealer and bronzer and all that. Um,
Mm.
and beard dye because it's fully gray.
Oh,
But
stop. We
But
are allowed to age. We
I
are
know, I
allowed
know,
to
I know, I know.
age.
I know. I'm just being silly, but I will say something else that's kind of a fascinating thing because I haven't. It's kind of a newer development, but even as like someone that is has worked in the niche of glamour magic for a while,
Mhm,
it's been my little cup of tea in my own little world. But it's like I just love when we kind of learn more about our practice or like on a deeper level.
mhm.
So on like a personal note, I was seeing someone earlier this year who was ended up being a huge narcissist and was a really horrible scenario that
Haven't
luckily I
we
was
all,
able to
baby?
yeah that
Haven't we
I
all?
was I was able to get out of pretty quickly, thankfully, because I had a lot of friends and support that were able to be like, no, there's a lot of red flags here. But I think too, part of maybe one of the reasons why I was able to get out too is just because as someone that practices glamour, I could see through another. And I started, the more I learned more about narcissism, I'm like, that's kind of like the non-magical person's glamour. It's a dark glamour. Because I always say, like, with what I do or like what witches do, it's an illusion. It's alluding to something that exists, and it's from a place of empowerment, that you
Mhm,
are kind of casting this kind of overall vision over yourself. But from a narcissistic perspective, it's an illusion. It's a form of manipulation that is used from a negative standpoint. And I don't know, I got really into the kind of comparisons between how that works and how glamour works and how it is just another form of glamour. Um, so that's been like another interesting little tidbit of me, what I've kind of been like looking into and studying a little bit more recently.
mhm.
Um, so that's been interesting.
So it's like a continuous evolution. It's very Bowie-esque,
Yeah.
going into, different phases and different discoveries as you mature into
Hmm.
your craft.
Yes, and
It's definitely
I'm
lovely.
getting much more into like just meditation in general and being calm and being in a place of stillness and contentness. Like we have a Buddhist temple here in Chicago, and I've been going to it more recently, just for weekend meditations, and it's been lovely. So that's kind of my practice has evolved in that area, and then in the last 2 years, working heavily with Aphrodite and learning
Mhm,
different areas of overall desire. I even kind of I'm working on a book up on Aphrodite now, and the kind of main question that I've been asking myself is, one of the things that we learn is, as witches, is that we create change with our will. And what is our will but desire? So if Aphrodite is truly the goddess of desire and all of the components underneath it, beauty, love, all the different things, then is she not a goddess of like true witchcraft? Because that's our desire. We change with our will. So I'm in a very
going
philosophical,
deep.
spiritual, magical, deep place in my head sometimes now with all of that.
But that's just, it's like watching someone grow up,
Yeah.
in the public eye, and that's
Mhm.
that's a very difficult thing. So I give you lots of respect
Thank you.
for that because that is not an easy thing to do. It's hard enough
Yeah.
being a public person,
It's
but
weird hearing you say. Sorry to cut you off.
no, go ahead, darling.
It's weird hearing you say that because it's even like now I'm looking back on it. I'm just like, holy shit! Like, the things I could have told younger me, like just don't read the bad reviews. Just don't put up with the bullshit. Don't care about the other petty authors that want to like hate on you and say all this smear campaigns behind your back. Don't care about, like, just all of the things that like I've learned along the way. And now I'm just so at peace with it. And I'm like, I really just don't care. But it's
Right.
cool to, on the other side of it, come out of that and just, have a state of gratitude, but also just really not give in to the things that don't matter. Where before, it was very much that. And I think that that's just a part of shedding the ego too, um, which is nice as you get older. You know, coming from a place of not necessarily always trying to fulfill your ego. So,
Well, yeah, I
yay,
mean, one of
evolution.
the one of the things you and I had talked about very early on, and I'm
Yeah.
talking years ago,
Uh-huh.
when you and I first started having conversations was I had decided I was never gonna I had read a review of the show once,
Uh-huh.
and and it was one of them was bad and one of them was good. But
Mhm.
the bad one was horrible and the good one was great. And I realized if I was going to believe one, I had to believe the other. So I wasn't going to believe either.
Mhm.
and I stopped reading any review of the show. And I've been at so much peace ever since then, because
So much.
if you believe one, you have to believe the other.
Yes. And I mean, that
So
even goes into what I was saying earlier about like
mhm,
just having like my own, like, I'm really not doing much on social media anymore except
mhm.
posting my own little pictures of myself. Like, that's it. But like not paying attention to the witch wars, not paying attention to who's got this coming out or doing this. It's so peaceful.
Yes,
And I'm going to protect my peace at all costs because I've worked hard to get here. So,
exactly. Which is, I'm so proud of you. But watching someone kind of grow up in the public eye is such a difficult thing, not just for them, but you watch them go through the pains and the aches,
yeah,
and it's hard, and hopefully someone behind them learns from it. And
yeah.
even as an older witch, which I am, I learned from watching what other people go through. And I
Mhm.
mean, you and I have had some talks where I've been like, "Oh yeah, I remember those pains, and
Uh-huh.
the, that's a rough patch, and I've been there. I've seen that, done that, felt that, been that." Yeah, but I'm so proud of you, because
Yeah.
you do turn into a butterfly over and over again, and it's so
You just
wonderful
can't
to
stop
watch.
evolving.
Yeah. Well,
But
some
things come
people
in
do.
cycles too. You know,
Well, some
looking at
people do. Some
some
people
people
do not
do.
know well enough to actually learn the lessons and continue to change. Some people want to
Correct.
stay very stuck in
Yeah, but
their
it's, I mean, even my own things that I have trouble with and mess up on. It's just about getting back up there and doing stuff. It's like, I don't know. It's this. I'm just going to use this as an example because again, like, yeah, in the last year or so, I've gotten back on the dating train, and there's so many people in my life that were just like, "Oh no, you need to take a break because this one didn't work out." I'm like, we only like we're dating a couple of weeks. Like, it's not the end of the world. I'm not going to let like this negative thing stop me. Like, I'm going to get back up on the horse and go after what it is that I want right now. But I'm just going to do it a little bit smarter and and learn. So that's all you can do.
Yeah,
So
that's great.
don't, but I mean, at the same time, too, I mean, this kind of goes into like what I was saying before, which is kind of the idea of the glam witch, too. It's like you have to also understand when there's like, you've reached the ceiling of where you can go. Like, it's time to pivot. It's time to move. We can't keep doing the same thing over and over again. Um, and even just from like the author perspective, I mean, I know people have said it like in the last couple of years, even trying to get books published. So many of like ideas that I have not gone through, and it's just because people are, the publishing world is so oversaturated with witch stuff right now. So it's like no one's making money off of it. So you can't even get signed for things at this point. So I don't know. It's just we are in a weird time in general.
Do you feel like, because you were the glam witch for so long, that you're pigeonholed?
Absolutely not. Not
Okay.
at all. I
No, that
think
other, not that you're pigeonholed by you, but that other people have tried to keep you in that glam box.
I don't think so. And I think one of the reasons is because even after like my first book came out, that was, self-titled The Glam Witch, but it was the acronym to work with Lilith and all that kind of stuff.
Mhm.
My next couple of books were not really glamour based. They were in other areas of witchcraft that I do
I
in my
know.
personal practice.
Yeah.
So, like the last two books I've written have been more glamour focused. And like, I would love to stay in that niche, but it's just a niche that never really broke out. I don't think like, there's like 780 books on green witchcraft and like
Mhm.
900 on how to be a psychic witch. But it's like there's like three or four on glamour. And it's just interesting. That it just never kind of made the mold, but it's, it is what it is. Um but either way, like I think it gives me power. Um even in that, like, when I shifted from like presenting daily all the time on social media and even just in daily life, like in caftan and heels and, eyeliner and all that kind of stuff, cut my hair short and started wearing pants and t-shirts. But everyone was up in arms about it, but I kind of loved it. Like, nobody knew who I was and I got to be incognito a little bit. And um, I think it just gave me more power. I don't know how else to really describe it. But I love the question. Um, and I don't think, yeah, I mean, I who knows what I'll transform into, but that's the purpose of glamour. You can change and shapeshift into anything that you want to be. And so it's just it's a testament to myself. I gave myself a magical makeover and here it is.
Oh, I was
Incredible.
loving it because you were so all over the place that people were like, "Well, wait a minute. Does he have a girlfriend? Does he have a boyfriend?
I know.
Does he have both? Wait a minute. Wait a minute. What's happened?" And you could hear the confusion
You
behind the
could. You
keyboard.
just look at the comments on all of the all of the social media
Mhm.
pages, and I was getting a kick out of it. I love it.
I was pissing myself. I'm like, "Oh, this is the smartest shit I have seen a
Well,
person
again,
do."
it's because I've done it for so long. You have to shift. You have to shake it up, and you do it really crazy, like to make a stir. So it's not. I mean, I wouldn't say that that's the real reason why I did it. That wasn't the motivating factor behind all of it, but it certainly was a great cherry on top of the entire situation.
Oh, I know. Well, first of all, you
Mhm.
should never have said that you didn't do it on purpose because I thought it was brilliant and a plan. But anyway, that's just me.
But you know what? The best things are. It's like, yeah, I don't know. Maybe it was a little bit. I mean, I do remember it was like, I mean, I've had this kind of, oh, I don't know what it is with us artists, people, and I've always said that too. Like before I'm an author, before I'm all of it, I'm an artist. I have the true makings of a creative artist, and that's kind of why the brand of the Glam Witch just worked well for me, because I don't think I thought of it from an art perspective. But so many times you hear artists like, we want to kill our art, we want to break it down, we want to kill it. And so for years I've had secretly this, and only like very close confidence in like the witch community knew that like I wanted to just end the Glam Witch, just full on, the Glam Witch is dead, we're shutting down projects, I'm canceling my book deal, like I don't want to do them anymore, I'm done. And so but I never did it. But I mean, maybe there was kind of a subconscious doing it on purpose, and that was the way that I kind of put it together. Who knows? Maybe that's kind of really what happened. Maybe it was a plan all along, and I just didn't realize it.
Oh my God. It's a God complex. It's a
Yes.
God complex. No, okay, now listen to my reasoning. Listen to my
Okay.
reasoning. Because you create,
Hmm.
and because you have the ability to create, you also must show your ability to destroy. It is the
Yeah.
ultimate God fixation of
Mm.
being a God, of creating and destroying, because you have the power to bring it into fruition and the power to destroy it. It is the ultimate high as a
I
God.
love this. Yeah,
Mhm.
actually, that's a great way to put it.
Thank you.
I love it. But yeah, I don't know. It's life is strange, but it's with all of the shit that's going on in the world, and even in just the negatives in my personal life, it's I'm really in the most grounded and happy spot that I've been in a long time. So
Totally
and
sound it.
I'm not letting anyone get in the way of that. And I'm going on like a trip of a lifetime in May.
Oh, oh,
I'm
oh,
going with
oh.
fellow witch author and my magical mother Fiona Horn to Bali. So we'll be in Bali for 2.5 weeks. She'll be there for I think a month because she's doing
Oh,
two
wow.
retreats. So I'm going to one of them, and I'm so excited. It's just right around the corner, and then before that I have my birthday. So it's like birthday and then Bali. Ha ha ha! Fabulous.
Oh, I'm so jelly, but happy for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I
Oh,
think that'll be a really great place for me to recharge, reset, and find inspiration again. I will say that that's something too, and maybe you can chime in on it. And maybe it's just the state of the world, but I've just been feeling so uninspired lately.
mm,
And as a creative Aries, that's not comfortable to sit and not feel inspired.
yeah.
Um, but I don't know. There's all the astrological stuff that we've been having this year too, so I'm sure that has something to do with it.
Well, you could probably speak to that.
Yeah,
I'm not the astrology person,
yeah.
um, but definitely it's there's this pressure and oppressive feeling,
Mhm,
and it's over all of us,
mhm.
whether we wanted to be in this position or not.
Yeah.
And it just seems to be a thing. And I'm sure there's going to be a break in the action at some point, whether it's
Hopefully.
good or bad, whatever it's going to be.
Yeah.
But we're all just kind of sitting on this bubble of holy shit right now. And that's kind of just it. I think we're all just waiting for something to radically change, and I think it
Mhm,
will. But at the moment, we're just all kind of like, wow, really? I
mhm.
mean, every day is just a situation of really?
Really?
Okay. Sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I get that. I feel that. Definitely feel
Yeah.
that.
But I'm so excited for your trip to Bali. That sounds
Oh,
fantastic.
yes, watch the social media because the pictures will be posted.
I know, honey, I know. And the outfits will be
I know I'm
fabulous.
getting the outfits. Yes, I had some in the shopping cart yesterday and press send, so hopefully they're here in time. And um, yeah, I'm excited. It's just so fun. Like, and I haven't done like a big travel in a while either, so this will definitely be the biggest going to the other side of the world. But so excited for it. Who knows?
It's
Maybe I won't come back. I'll just run away into the jungle, be there
well,
forever.
that's interesting that you say that because I find that a lot of people now, when
Mhm.
they do go on a vacation, they are looking at options of moving.
Yeah.
And a friend of mine moved also around the world from a vacation and
Uh-huh.
loves it and is very happy. And yeah, so it can happen. A lot of
Well, I
people
think
are looking to relocate and start a
you.
totally different life.
Yeah, I think we find where we're supposed to be, I guess. And sometimes we have that calling to go to a certain place, and it just really reinvigorates and changes your life. Even from like a health perspective, I've heard of just people where they want to move somewhere, and then they really love some place, and they go, and then like some of their health issues like completely cleared up and stuff. So
Mhm.
it's just interesting that like, I don't know, it's part of the magic of life. It's magical living. So the spirit of place is very powerful.
It
So,
is. And I think you're going to find something unexpected on this trip.
oh, I'm sure. I'm always finding something unexpected, even in my house. So I'm like, 100% will. Who knows though.
So
I'm just,
I
yeah, but
wanted to,
anyways, yes.
I wanted to ask you from an
Mhm.
astrological
Yes.
perspective,
Uh-huh.
if you're picking up anything interesting coming up anytime soon from a world point of view or anything point of view.
Well, to be honest, I haven't looked into that much of like what's coming up with the astrology world.
Mhm.
Um, and I'm not sure. I mean, we have the eclipse coming
Mhm.
up, and so people all have different witches and astrologers have way different opinions on how this all kind of works and puts together. But there is some karmic shifts that are happening.
Mm.
The cardinal signs just are having a better time right now. So Aries, Libra, Cancer, and Capricorn have shifted and have kind of ended a cycle of kind of some negative stuff. So
Yay!
that's what I know there. But yeah, to be honest, I've just kind of have not really looked into it because I don't. How do I say it? Especially with the climate of the world right now, it just, yeah, I just want to stay away from it all. I don't know how else to describe it. Like even doing tarot and divination, like I'm really just not involving myself in it. Like I want every day to be a mystery, I guess,
I get it. No, I totally get it. And
rather than living in fear and anxiety. I'm just choosing the unknown.
yeah,
Ostrich with my head under the sand, I guess. I don't know. Some people probably think
well,
that, but again, I'm just trying to protect my peace as much as I can. That we can only control what we can control, and that's one thing I have control over. So um, that's why I do it.
it's very interesting. I recently went to a seminar
Uh,
about this very topic, that the
mm,
only thing you can control is yourself.
yeah.
Um, it's a talk I used to give. It was offered as a class. We
Mhm,
went to it, and we were exchanging ideas with
mhm.
the person giving this class, and it was very interesting. And I said, "What are you supposed to learn from this interaction?" And he was like, "Oh, you know this class?" And I said, "No, I've given this class." So he was like, "Oh, well, let's talk." Blah blah blah. We had a whole
Funny.
conversation offline about it, and it's just people are trying to find ways to cope,
Uh-huh.
to handle stress, and they're looking for all these different things, these
Mhm.
different mechanisms to cope with the sudden influx. I mean, it's obviously an influx of new stress for all these different people,
Yeah.
and they're questioning how to handle the emotional load that comes with it. And it's
Absolutely.
fascinating to me to see people, and these are not witchcraft people. These are just regular folk doing their regular folk stuff and just feeling that omnipresent pressure, and just trying to, as a witch, trying to be there for them without them necessarily knowing that I'm a witch, which is getting kind of hard, to be honest with you, for them to not know, because they're like, how do you understand how I'm feeling? How do you get all this? And it's like, oh yeah, just
Yeah,
sympathy. You don't want to start with empathetic, because I feel like the word empathetic is so overused. And
totally.
yeah, I think that word's gotten beaten up to death. But you want to be there for them, but then you want to tell them to, come on, we got to get up and put our underwear on and get to
Yeah.
work. And
Yeah.
it's just trying to manage them, maneuver them kindly, sometimes with a stick, sometimes with a carrot.
Hmm.
It's just, and everyone is so different and unique, and yet not unique at the same time. And I'm tired of snowflakes, and I'm tired of
Yeah, I definitely
the
hear
crowd.
that. I hear that. I hear that.
Do
It's,
you have to deal with that a lot? A lot of people who are just way too special, and then some people who are just way too part of the crowd.
oh my God. I mean, every day of my life. Between work, between the internet, between the witch world, between walking outside. Um, it's a lot out there. But I don't know. I'm trying to just give people as much grace as possible, even myself.
Mhm.
And even the whole idea of kind of the we all we can do is control ourselves type of a thing. I thought so much in the last couple of years of just how I deal with my relationships, so friends, family, all of that, where it's just, I think so many of us want to kind of control that too and want people to be or act a certain way. And I've tried so hard to kind of back away from that and just accept you for who you are. And it's up to me to decide if I'm able to accept some of that stuff. And if I'm not, then, then I distance myself or I put up some kind of a boundary. But I'm no longer trying to control, I guess, other people,
Right.
um, and how I want them to act or the expectations that I have for them to act. As long as as long as you treat me right and well, you do you. So, but
But
even just from like online perspective and like peers and the witch, like it just, I don't know. At the end of the day, it doesn't really affect me. So I'm not giving it as much energy as I may be used to.
let me ask you this.
Yeah.
As you've evolved over the past year and a half,
Hmm.
especially I'm going to say the past 8 to 10 months
Okay.
specifically,
Yes.
okay, because he knows some shit's coming from Auntie right now. Okay.
I love it. Give it to me.
All right. So have you noticed, because I've noticed,
Uh-huh.
that the more you have personally evolved, the more you have taken better care of yourself,
Hmm.
um, with, weight loss, health care, less drinking, the
Hmm.
more you have stopped accepting bullshit, in the form of people who are potential partners.
Um, yes and no. So, from a dating perspective, I don't
Mhm.
know. The thing is that I've really kind of stepped up the dating since like November, December. So yeah, the last couple of months. But each one of these experiences, like I learned something new from it, right? And so I kind of do evolve, and I kind of do have this. I'm kind of more in the stance now of like what I like the bullshit that I'm not gonna deal with, and like
Mhm.
the that type of stuff. But at the same time too, I'm doing things a little different than I used to, because I used to very much do that when I was dating before and I was in relationships and stuff. And now I'm just trying to, I don't know, like I lead with my heart open, and that's something that I think is necessary. I mean, even in like the love spell book that I wrote, in other books of that I've read, and other people that teach love magic, you have to have your heart open in order to actually attract and get that kind of stuff. So I do get some people that have shared their concern with me that maybe I'm just a little too naive or accepting of people. But at the same time too, I lived for so long. Like the whole time I've been the Glam Witch, I was completely single because it was, the Glam Witch was my boyfriend basically. And but I lived within that very protective, hard area for so long, dealing with the drama of my ex and stupid stuff like that, that I don't want to live in that kind of way anymore. So I guess in certain ways I'm trying to find the balance between being open but also saying no,
Mm-hmm.
and just walking away. And so there's been some good tests in the last couple of months
Mm-hmm.
for that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, you can't stop being who you are,
No.
no matter, mature or not, older
Yeah.
or not, learned or not. You're
Hmm.
still going to be an open, loving person because
Yeah.
that's your nature.
Hmm.
But you still can make better decisions and say yes to certain things and no to other things that you might have said yes to before.
Yeah.
And the things that are red flags, you might be a little bit better to recognize now than you were then. I mean, you listen, anyone who's an open, loving person
Yeah.
is going to take a risk because love is a risky thing. That's just the nature of it, right?
Absolutely. And I mean, you do bring up a really good point there, because there are like the lessons that I've had from my past relationships and the shit that I dealt with that I'm like, nope, I'm not doing this anymore. But that does help you, in so many ways for you to be like, nope, I'm not handling this. Nope, I'm not doing that. And it was
Mm-hmm.
really clearly the guy that I was talking about earlier,
Mm-hmm.
once I finally I was like, you know what, Michael, like this is the universe showing you, do you really want to do this again? Didn't
Mm-hmm.
you learn this when you were 25? Now you're 35 and it's the same flipping experience. Leave. And that's exactly what I did. I sent him the message while he's cheating on me behind my back and just was like, you know what? I'm fucking done. Bye. Out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I deserve better. You're not going to
Mm-hmm.
have me, and I'm out. And
Yeah,
stop trying to act like I'm fucking stupid. I mean, I'm a little dumb sometimes, but I'm not stupid. But
right.
um, yeah, I don't know. But yes, I love that you said that. That's a great perspective for me to even think about within myself. That it's, yeah, all these lessons of life, they kind of help, you know, evolve you as well.
Mm-hmm.
And what you can and cannot do. I mean, even from like a work perspective, shifting from like even just the job life. Like I used to be a supervisor. I used to have like the bigger roles, and I don't want to do that anymore. It's like, they ask
Mm.
like, are you trying to move up the ladder? No, I'm trying to stay very much where I'm at forever. I want to continue to clock in and clock out and be gone with my life. Goodbye.
Mhm.
I don't want to think about this place when at night. Leave me alone. So,
Right.
but it's just, yeah, it's all the lessons of life. They come together and string along to get you where you need to be, I guess. So, but
Yeah.
yeah, I've always been, even some of my closest friends. My one girlfriend Yasmin always talks to me about just like because we went to high school together, so the evolution of like how we both have kind of evolved over time. And I mean, that's one thing that I just really do like about myself. I mean, I do constantly grow, and I always go after what I want, and I always tend to succeed because I have the drive to continue to do that. So
Uh-huh.
yeah, I don't know. Fun topic, fun conversation. I always love chatting with
Well, you're always fun to speak with because you're always, interesting and you have an interesting life and you've got an
you.
interesting perspective and,
Yeah.
it's not like I have to ever drag information out of you. I'm
Oh no,
telling
I
you.
tell everything. I
I
tell
know.
too much shit.
One of the things I love the most about you, you're
I
talkative.
just tell. Yeah.
It's very hard to have a conversation with someone who doesn't want to talk, and trust me, I have
Yeah.
had those. It's
Yeah.
remarkable. I have had people come on that are just like, if you're not constantly throwing questions, they have literally nothing to say. I'm like, you wrote a whole book.
Yeah.
Don't you want to talk about?
We haven't even talked about the book. I guess maybe we
Oh
should
my
get.
god, I know. Oh my god, and I'm
Okay,
sorry.
so the latest book is called Glamstrology. You can get it wherever
Yes.
books are sold.
Hmm.
It is my combination of using glamour magic and your astrological chart to create a style that's uniquely your own, but also, how to kind of help camouflage and shift your I guess views, if you're working with, if you have like a conflict with a specific sign. So let's say you have a boss that's a Scorpio and you don't
Mm,
really get along. And but you present yourself in more of a Scorpio way, you glamour yourself in the way of a Scorpio and what they like to help ease the conflict and ease the friction. Or if you're
so
going on a
smart.
date with a Pisces and you really want to impress them, then you can kind of dress in a certain demeanor to kind of help relax and ease them, because not all signs get along. So
Mm,
that's kind of, there's so many different ways to use the book. So many people are probably going to just kind of focus on their sun sign, but the idea of Glamstrology is it uses 6 points in your natal chart. So your sun sign being your personality, kind of like the colors that you wear, the prints, the patterns. It just gives all the life to it. But then you have your Venus sign, Venus being the planet of love and beauty and glamour. That's
mhm,
kind of the heart center of your entire aesthetic. So the fragrances that you like to wear, the crystals and jewelry that you like to wear, the metals, um, the textures, the type of fabrics. And then you have your rising sign, which is your presentation, how you appear, how you like to be perceived in the world, which you're comfortable with. So that also is the types of clothing that you might kind of like to wear. And then we have our other signs, which would be your Neptune being the planet of illusions. So if you really want to do like your makeup up and like all that kind of stuff, and go very glamorous, your Neptune can kind of help influence that. Um, you have your second house, which rules over value and objects, your money, your shopping habits, the way you kind of handle yourself there. And then your 10th house, or your midheaven, which is your public image. So that's your natural ability to glamour, how the world sees you in
mhm.
your public life. And so using different aspects of each one of those sections, it gives you honestly 6 different possibilities, to kind of create a unique style that is uniquely your own. And that was something that I did when I kind of tried to evolve the Glam Witch. It was looking at kind of more of my signs and realizing, oh, I don't really always go for the Aries look a lot of the times, but sometimes I do. But I really like some of these other things that are more Taurus based, but that makes sense because I have a Taurus Venus, and really kind of building. I built the Glam Witch doing it. So it's really fun to share. It's a beautiful book. Llewellyn did a wonderful job. It's got
Mhm.
one of a kind sketches from a brilliant fashion illustrator out of New York, and Stephen Broadway is his name. And it's just such a fabulous, beautiful book. Great gift idea for anyone that is interested in astrology or fashion, or just wants to give themselves a little magical makeover. So check it
I
out.
need I need to tell you how I have used the book.
Okay, tell me.
Okay, so I am one of these people that is very much into corporate world,
Yeah.
negotiations,
Mm-hmm.
how to get my way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
um, I'm in a mid-level position.
Mm-hmm.
I have a lot of men around me,
Mm-hmm.
and I often have to fight many battles.
Yeah.
Depending on the subject matter,
Mm-hmm.
I have used the book to determine how I will dress
Mm-hmm.
for the meeting.
Love it.
So if I need a Scorpio day,
Mm-hmm.
because I know I am going to have to be in a power position,
Mm-hmm.
I will dress for the event using the
Mm-hmm.
book.
Love it.
So now I need another book because somebody took my book.
Exactly. Somebody took
Anyway,
yours.
well,
Hopefully
yeah,
not
and
one of your coworkers in those meetings. They were like, "We
oh
haven't
no, no, no,
noticed
no,
which
no,
craft
no.
she's doing."
No, no. I have a lot of loved ones who come through the house and
Uh
say,
huh.
"Ooh, this is interesting."
And,
And
and
then
and walk off with it.
yeah. So, I mean, which listen, my library is open to my family and friends, and that's fine.
Hmm.
But sometimes I need something and they've walked off with it. But anyway,
Yeah, I get it.
it's I'll get another one. It's okay. But I didn't realize they had taken it ahead of our show today, which now I'm annoyed. But okay. So if you get a copy, folks, and I highly recommend that you do, make sure you put it somewhere that other folks don't have access to it, unless you
Hmm.
intend to buy more than one, which is a fine idea. It does make a good gift, because I will tell you that while it is great for beauty and it is
Hmm.
great for making yourself um, really tap into your potential just in
Yeah.
how you present yourself, I do use it as a strategy book
Yeah.
for different interactions, and I will tell you that it works.
Yeah.
So I do highly recommend it as a business tool,
Business tool, yes. I love that. Well,
right?
I always think even just think of the idea of glamour magic in general, and that's the other thing. So if people are kind of like, "What the hell is this glamour magic?" and "What the hell is astrology?" The first
Mhm.
chapter really gets into the nitty gritty of what glamour magic is and how you can utilize it. And the second chapter, of course, really explains astrology and tells you how you can find out the different signs that you have and how to work with that throughout the book. And then the rest of it is your
Absolutely.
playground. You can make it
Mhm.
whatever you want. And you know what? Maybe you don't like any of your natural glamstrology signs and you just really want to dress like a Leo. It tells you how to do that.
Mhm.
So, or ways that you want to maybe glamour yourself as a Leo, the reasons behind it. So,
Yes.
because like you said, you're trying to do like the boardroom stuff. So, Capricorn energy might be really, really good for you to look at in that
Mhm.
section because that's all about presenting in that kind of workforce and that higher up corporate kind of a world. Or if you
Mhm.
really want to be very ambitious and you want to be very confident and striking, Aries might be a good one for you to do. Or if you really want
Mhm.
to be very clean and professional and like and crisp and classic, a Virgo, and so on and so forth. So it's just a really fun book. It gives you lots of different options. It's very versatile and flexible to anyone's wants or desires for how you want to do the book.
Oh, absolutely. And sometimes, depending on the situation, I'll want to tap into some Gemini energy
Yeah.
because I know I'm going to have to turn on a dime. So I will go in being very demure and dressing very sweetly,
Yeah.
but knowing that in a moment's notice, I may have to completely turn the tables on someone.
Yeah.
And it works. It
You
actually
know,
works. If you tap into the right energy,
yeah.
if you use the book to its fullest extent,
Hmm.
it's not just a book about glam or glamour. It's a truly, truly effective tool.
Yeah.
Uh, and yeah, I'm sorry. I know you didn't really market it that way, but well, you kind of did,
Kind of
but
did.
you did. And that's how I use it. And
Hmm.
quite frankly, in this world,
Hmm.
um, I think it's a useful tool for males, females, and everybody in between and all
Yes.
around.
Yeah.
There is nothing wrong with using every available tool in the arsenal
Yes.
to negotiate in business, especially today.
Well, we have to. I mean, that's the art
Agreed.
of war, right? I mean, you have you
Yes,
have to be
Sun
able to use.
Tzu.
I even think about, and I just love because it's because of Buffy. So everyone's talking about like, oh, the Buffy is like getting its re-kick. But I just remember watching that like growing up, and it was like just there was like an episode where it's like a smart slayer will use whatever is around her to win,
Mhm.
and the same can be said for us. And that's why it's like I remember it's like a young witch like getting all the books and like wanting to have all the tools, but then always hearing like the more advanced witches being like, you don't need no damn tools. And now it's funny because like I've gotten rid of so many of my tools that I'm like, I am the tool, like it is me.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Especially with glamour magic, because you truly are the tool. It comes from you, like the clothes and all of that. Yeah, absolutely. But like you are the instrument that is conducting the symphony of the magic of your life. You are it. You
Yep.
come up with the idea. What is my intention? How do I want to present today? What do I want to look like? Every single day is an opportunity for you to put on a different character and be someone different or
Yep.
be a new version of yourself and continuously evolve, continuously showcase the evolution of your own personal style, which is at the end of the day is just your creative self-expression, aka leading me back to what I said about me being an artist. Bam. So
Bam. Mic drop, baby.
yes.
Wow. And with that, we took up just about an hour.
Yes, absolutely. Not shocked at all.
Wow. So I want you to have the most magical birthday.
Thank you.
I
I
want
should
you to
be.
have the most magical trip to Bali.
Oh, it will be so magical.
I can't wait to
So
hear
magical
and
that I might not
see.
come back. I'll run and
Well,
I'll be the Bali witch.
we'll see. It could happen. Um, I love and adore you, and I hope you
Me
come
too.
back on soon.
Of course.
Um,
Even just to talk crap.
I
Talk
love
smack.
it. And that would be lovely.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure I'll learn some stuff in Bali. Could do talk about
yeah,
Balinesian magic. Who
that would
knows?
be lovely. So if you
Yeah.
would like get back with me when you're back from Bali, let's set up
Cool.
another date when you
I
come
love
back.
it. Let's do it. Perfect.
Okay.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure speaking with you again.
Michael Herkes, you are fantastic. The
Thank you.
latest book is Glamstrology.
Woohoo.
Please get a copy. It's really a
Please.
fantastic read and very enjoyable. And again, a great tool to have in your arsenal. Go and get a copy.
Woohoo.
Thanks again, Michael.
Thank you.
Take
Bye
care,
bye.
my love. Bye.
Bye.
All right, everybody. That's it for today. 4:15 will be back next week. See you then. Have a blessed week.